Welcome to AHRC TV's weekly roundup. In this week's program, AHRC TV brings you the following stories. International NGOs are calling for the Cambodian government to withdraw LANGO. Dalit woman beaten for seeking earthquake relief supplies. Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency officials suspended for misconduct involving torture. Bushra Khalik, human rights activist, speaks out on worsening conditions in Pakistan. Welcome to AHRC TV's weekly roundup. I am Christine Ler. AHRC first turns to Cambodia, where 40 international rights organizations urged a withdrawal of the proposed law on associations and non-governmental organizations that would curtail human rights. This proposed law seeks to give government ministries 3 sweeping, arbitrary powers without judicial review. Power to shut down existing domestic and foreign membership groups as well as staffed organizations. Power to prohibit the creation of new ones, and power to criminalize the activities of non-registered groups. In question are the restrictions on the freedoms of peaceful assembly, association, expression, and opinion. The rights organizations posit that there have been no serious, meaningful consultations with the affected groups and the wider public about this flawed draft bill that, if passed, will be contrary to international law. The scheduled 2.5-hour parliamentary question and answer consultation is not intended as a genuine consultation or to show compliance with international standards on human rights, argue the rights groups. Rather, they see it as an opportunity for the government to insist that the draft remain unaltered and make those who oppose it understand. If the government of Cambodia is truly serious about the protection and promotion of human rights, it should stop acting in such haste and look to guarantee the rights of Cambodians, long denied. AHRC TV also questioned John Coughlan, Amnesty International Researcher for Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam.
Well, in the last 20 years, there have been huge changes in Cambodian society. There have been huge social changes, and part of this has been an increasing awareness amongst the population of issues of equality and issues of justice. Local and international civil society has played a huge role in informing ordinary people of their rights and empowering them to stand up against injustices that are happening around the country. This has happened right down to the village level. People in Cambodia are empowered like never before and will speak about injustices. This is what the NGO law is about. It's about providing the authorities with capacity to control groups and to control citizens, to censor their voices and to punish those who are deemed to have spoken out of line. Yeah, it's true that there appears to be an attack on democratic space around the world, including through legislative efforts to restrict civil society and specifically to punish outspoken critics of government, authorities and powerful elite. And Cambodia is no different to a number of countries in trying to control civil society. What Cambodia is different, however, is that it holds itself out to be a liberal democracy. Cambodia's constitution guarantees people a central role in how the country is governed. It guarantees the right to freedom of association, the right to freedom of expression, and the right to take part in the political and social life of the country. Passage of the NGO law will fatally undermine these rights and how they are enjoyed by people right across the country. There are really 2 main problems with the NGO law. On the one hand, it sets out a heavy bureaucratic regime, which most groups in the country will find very difficult to respect and abide by. And on the other hand, it provides authorities with broad and sweeping pretexts to shut down groups on political grounds, such as for violating a requirement of political neutrality that the law itself creates, or for undermining vague principles of public security, stability, national unity, culture, traditions, and so on. Amnesty International's concern is that the NGO law will be used for political ends to silence legitimate critical voices and dissenting opinions. Civil society in Cambodia is organised and at times it's shown itself to be very effective. So in 2011, it looked as though the NGO law would pass, and there was a sustained advocacy campaign by civil society in the country and with assistance from external stakeholders, including foreign government. This sustained advocacy campaign resulted in the law being postponed. So in a sense, civil society is now trying to replicate that and have the law put back further or dropped entirely. And very importantly, this is not a foreign imposed agenda, but comes from ordinary people throughout the country who are saying that they do not want this law. Unfortunately, the civil society has been excluded from the process the very stakeholders that the law is going to impact. Fundamentally, the draft is in violation of Cambodia's human rights obligations, both in domestic law and in international law. International treaties that Cambodia has signed and its own constitution guarantee the right to freedom of association. That is the right to form groups and legal entities to work on specific shared interests. So this law, the NGO law, will place restrictions on freedom of association that just go beyond what is acceptable. It provides broad grounds to close groups down, groups that the authorities simply don't like, and it is administratively burdensome to a point that serves no legitimate interest. Significantly, the right to freedom of association protects informal association, which means it protects informal groups who come together and do not register. The NGO law would require all groups to register, however informal they may be in practice, and it provides for criminal sanction for groups that carry out activities without registering. This is a particularly concerning issue with the law and really could have sweeping detrimental effects on voices of communities right across the country.
The program now moves to Nepal. A 35-year-old Dalit woman named Saraswoti Sunar, who queued up to receive relief materials after suffering loss in the Great Earthquake, has been beaten black and blue. The beating on 12th of May by local non-Dalit Deepak Bhattarai's family members has resulted in Saraswati Sunar, resident of Nagarjun Municipality 7, sustaining a broken arm. An organization named World Vision Nepal had been distributing tents and blankets to families affected by quake in Nagarjun Municipality in Kathmandu. Saraswati had lined up for this relief when she was assaulted. When the AHRC contacted World Vision Nepal, Surendra Dakal, humanitarian emergency manager, was diplomatic. He sidestepped the issue and said World Vision Nepal had been more focused on providing relief to earthquake victims and will continue their relief distribution. AHRC TV interviewed Saraswati Sunar to hear her side of the story.
जिल्ला अदालतमा मैले जेठको 31 गते मुद्दा दर्ता गरेको छु के रे कुटपिट सम्बन्धीको र गाली क्लोज सम्बन्धीको वास्तवमा यो मुद्दा जातीय छुवाछुतको विषयमा हुनुपर्ने थियो जुन मलाई पटक पटक कहिले मन्दिरमा पस्न नदिने भनेर मन्दिरमा पस्न आइ भनेर कुट्ने कहिले चाहिँ मन्दिरै छेउमा रहेको पार्टी छ त्यो पार्टीमा चाहिँ महिला समूहहरुको मिटिङमा भित्र पस्न खोज्दाखेरि कुट्ने यस्ता खालका कहिले चाहिँ दलित भएर नेतृत्व गरेर हिड्ने भन्दै कुट्ने विभिन्न खालको टर्चरहरु एउटा सामाजिक टर्चरदेखि मानसिक टर्चरसम्म उनीहरुले दिइराछन् अब त्यो भइसकेपछि अहिले पनि रातकै विषयमा पनि दलितहरुको नामको रात जति गैर दलितहरुले लाने यो गर्दाखेरि पनि उहाँले सिधै भन्नुभएको छ कि त कमिनलाई केको रात भनेर चाहिँ सिधै यस्तो ठाडो शब्दमा भन्दै पनि यो मुद्दा के जातीय छुवाछुत विषयको मुद्दा हुन सक्दैन र छैन मैले यस्तो वर्ल्ड भिजनको संस्थासँग चाहिँ मैले प्रत्यक्ष कुरा गरेको पनि छैन अब जहाँसम्म लाग्छ मलाई वर्ल्ड भिजनको नेत चाहिँ त्यो होइन होला तर यो घटनालाई चाहिँ छानबिन चाहिँ गर्नु पर्थ्यो भन्ने चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ किनभने एउटा वर्ल्ड भिजन भनेको एउटा इन्टरनेशनल संस्था हो त्यो संस्थाले भनेको कसैलाई विभेद गर्ने इच्छा नभइकन सबैलाई समान ढंगले बाड्ने इच्छाले आउनु पर्छ हैन अब आको पनि छ होला किन कुट्यो त भनेर छानबिन चाहिँ भएको छैन छानबिन चाहिँ हुनु पर्थ्यो छानबिन किन कुट्यो त एकचोटी पनि मलाई उहाँहरुले फोनसम्म गरेर के हो त विषय भनेर बुझ्ने हुन्थ्यो त्यो सम्म पनि बुझ्नु भएको छैन उहाँले ताकि सरस्वती सुनार को हो त किन बोले सरस्वती सुनारले के बोलेको हो त आफ्नै लागि बोले हो कि अरु समुदायको लागि बोले हो त्यो सम्म पनि उहाँहरुले बुझ्नु भएको छैन उहाँहरुले त बुझ्नु पर्थ्यो किन यत्रो झगडा भयो के कारणले झगडा भयो उहाँहरुले त बुझ्नु पर्थ्यो
This incident is an example of the injustices taking place in Kathmandu itself during relief distribution after the great earthquake in Nepal. Next, AHRC TV reports on the misconduct of law enforcers and the injustice faced by torture victims in the Philippines. The UN Committee Against Torture had requested the Philippine government to provide information on the status of any investigation. On 25th November 2014, the government finally responded. One of the cases involves Kamid, a man from the Sarangani province in Mindanao. He was arrested on 10th April 2010 by law enforcers attached to the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. Upon being arrested, according to Camid, PDEA agents planted illegal drugs as evidence to prove he was involved in drug trade. Additionally, he was forced into signing a statement admitting that he owned the drugs that were earlier planted on him. As a result, the agents have succeeded in, firstly, building material evidence of illegal drugs, and secondly, gaining testimonial evidence through forced confession from the victim. The actions of the agents demonstrate how and why innocent victims like Camid are taken to law enforcement headquarters and how subsequent acts of torture against them are justified. When Camid questioned the legality of his arrest, public prosecutors ignored his claims. This explains why, in the government's response to the CAT Committee's request for information, it stated that Camid was charged as part of an anti-drug operation as opposed to the report's statement that he had been arrested as a result of his confession. To date, a PDEA investigation and the Office of Ombudsman for Military and other law enforcement officers have found the same PDEA agents guilty of simple misconduct with regard to arrest and acts of torture against the victim. These agents were suspended for a month without pay on 12 August 2013. Camid's case is but one example of innocent persons being wrongly accused and ending up in jail. On 23 December 2014, Camid was temporarily released on bail. However, the case against him for illegal drug possession is still pending in court. AHRC TV interviews torture victim Camid.
Dili to siya mga bypass operation pero kay duha ra man to sila nagdakop sa kuha. Katong ang chief operation sa PDEA kanya adto sa 2010 na si RC Adam o katong ilang agent na si Richard Utor, nga ginaingon ilang Richard Utor. Nya pag abot dito sa PDEA compound, ano to ilang akong ulata. Tabangan nila walo to sila kabuok. Nya man bago ko nila palugod o gibutangan nila ato mga ebidensya marijuana o siya po ang ilang gibutang sa kuha. Ako man mga dagdag mo gipasign atong ilang gifiles sa files ko nga gipahamis ko ang ako atong siya po marijuana. Ito nila. Iulata o nila bago ko nila gipasign ato. Wala akong kabalo ato nga na inform nila nga na suspended ni PDEA wala ito gipa-inform sa mga. Sa mga, katong decision nga na yung schedule at least kung nagawat ako to at least nga ang akong kaso nga niabot sa Asian Human Rights nga tabang mo sa kuha nga naparamdam ko daton sa ilaha nga dili kay basta-basta dahil magilabot sa katao kay naabot ay dangatan dahil kay naabot ay usa ka balaod nga pagtunan ng human rights nga makatabang sa tuwa. Kumbaga at least makwanto sila ba, ma-realize nila ba? Nga di nila umatruhon sa uban ba, di ba?
Finally, this week's roundup ends in Pakistan. AHRC TV seeks Bushra Khaliq's perspective on the Pakistani government's enactment of new laws and acts which contradict the fundamental rights of citizens. A few of the issues that are being raised include unfair power given to the armed forces and the curtailment of freedom of speech and expression of citizens and human rights defenders. As a human rights activist who has been involved with various social movements, Bushra has even been personally harassed. Here is Bushra.
Well, you know, the Pakistan is facing the war on terror. Due to that kind of situation or internal situation, Pakistan has become a security state, and on that pretext, the citizens' rights have been curtailed. For example, state of Pakistan has ratified so many conventions, but in contrary to that, they are legislating and the new acts are coming which are quite contrary to the fundamental rights of the people of Pakistan. Like the Pakistan Protection Act has given so much powers to the armed forces, And the other is coming in the process, that is cyber crimes, which is again to curtail the rights of the people about the freedom of expression, freedom of speech. So under these circumstances, we feel that the citizens of Pakistan, especially the voices of the human rights defenders or the human rights workers, has been shrinking. And now this is a new trend in Pakistan where we have great concern about that, the targeting and the elimination of those people who raise the voice about the human rights violations in Pakistan. And recently one person, female activist, who arranged the seminar about the Baloch missing persons have been killed just after the organizing the seminar. So such kind of things are deliberately happening. The series of target killings, the incidents of enforced disappearances in some particular parts of the country, that is happening, that is going on. And also these kind of legislation is a big message to the people who are working on the issue of human rights, that there is no space for your voices. So in this way, we are very much concerned about the security of the ordinary people, security of the human rights defenders, and also those people who are associated with the movements for the uplifting of human rights in Pakistan. And in such circumstances, it's becoming difficult, and even I would say the situation is becoming worse day by day.
That is all for this weekly roundup. For more on these and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.